Tuna and the Sheriff back into your life, and you're welcome for it, man. It's another Thursday. Good morning, first of all, and we're entering an off season that I don't think we expected. So we're stealing the off season. The Rams are stealing all the headlines, which is rather exciting. But I'm only 50% of this operation here. I am the Sheriff. Joining me also is the Tuna,
Hi.
being very observative. I don't know.
I was looking for the audience. Just trying to make eye
Oh, fair
contact.
enough. Yeah. Dude, how you doing, man?
I am great. Coffee is hitting hard this morning. It's good. Got my gasoline. Besides that, yeah, we're in full off season. This is it's fun.
I love it, man. We're in
It's a
combine
word.
time. First of all, the combine stuff, I was like, oh, we're already here? Like, this is quick, man. There is no off season. There's
Yeah.
times where there's no games. I'm telling you.
Kind of it's funny when you tell some folks who maybe don't follow football as addicted as some of us do,
Yeah.
that any NFL or football in general is a year-long sport because it's one of the greatest dramas in the world. That and the NBA, like they are great reality TVs. Oh my gosh. But yeah, shall we? Should we just dive into the Matthew
I guess,
Stafford
man. Yeah,
Chronicles?
let's do it, man. Let's do it, man. Where are we at right now? So I will say this, okay, to just kind of preface this whole conversation. I'm off work tomorrow. That's the day that I am, going to finish up my notes for this episode of Ram Showcase. I'll record it and publish it tomorrow. And I am in that episode going to give, based on all this stuff that we have going on right now, my predictions of what I think is going to happen leading into the preseason is where I'm going to give my predictions. So.
Fair.
I will go into more details, but I will give plenty of spoilers here as far as what I think is going to happen here. But I want to know from you, man. There's a lot of smoke. We know the term where there's smoke, there's fire. I have seen no flames, but the smoke is starting to bellow out of this Matthew Stafford story. All right. So where are you at with this, man? What do you think is going to happen?
Hell is hot and it's full of friends apparently because I'm right there with you. I feel the fire. I've been pretty adamant the entire time that it just doesn't make sense. Like, to be devil's advocate, like I get it. Like, hey, make all your money, and I am never, ever, ever like even if he gets traded to the Raiders for just the most money possible, and that was his main deciding factor. I'm always for it. Just because we've seen so many times where a guy gets injured. Hell, Aaron Rodgers, since he's part of this whole debacle, per the media, he came out in the first he got hurt in the first quarter of his Jets debut, and it took him up until maybe week 14 to look okay, look decent. Like you never know what's going to happen. Like you can pop your Achilles on play one of a game, and now you're losing millions and millions of dollars. Not that Stafford has not already made $300 million in his career, but go get your bag. From a football perspective, like just purely football, which I think Stafford is a football guy. Like, there's no better situation than the Rams. Like, I get it, man. Maybe you're not happy about one or two things with Cup. Grass is greener sometimes, but I feel like this is your home right now. Like this is football home for you, and I really would like to see him stay. Like, it makes the most sense. Like, it really does. Like, give him, dude, spread it out. Give him void years like the Eagles apparently do. Like, hey, yeah, it's a 2-year deal, but we're going to pay you post-retirement for like 10 years or until perpetuity, like Bobby Bonilla.
Dude, that happens, man. I talked about that. I actually mentioned that last episode of like, you can do the pay schedule doesn't have to match the play schedule. Like it could be a 2-year deal paid out over 10. Like you can do whatever you want in a contract. That's the best part about it is they are man-made and they're not just like, it's not a Mad Libs where you just fill in the blanks and stuff like that. Like you actually go through and like you can change wording and stuff like that. I don't know if you remember Jalen Ramsey's contract. He had writers on his contract that were named after his kids. Like it was like the whatever writer. I don't remember his kids' names, but it's like that. No. It was like if you get to this many interceptions, it's another bump and stuff like that. And it's like that he named them just after his kids. Like you can do whatever you want to these contracts. So yes, that is an option, but I think ultimately, man, where I'm at is there's a lot of smoke right now. I don't think it is impossible that the Rams do decide to move on from Matthew Stafford. I do think that the report that we recently got of him, being able to talk to other teams and then the Rams understanding now that there is actually some, interest around the league in bringing in Matthew Stafford. That now the report is saying that the Rams are now going to maybe up their offer a little bit, and that to me feels more like he's going to get traded. But I will say it, I don't think it makes any sense. It makes no sense to have a $45 million cap hit plus whatever you need to pay your next quarterback, because at that point, those two numbers added together, just pay that to Matthew Stafford and let's not mess with this. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of where I'm at. I think that the Rams are curious and are fielding those conversations, but I think at the end of the day, it'll come down to Matthew Stafford wanting to stay here, and I think it will be exactly like what you said there in terms of like we can look at around the league and these other teams. Look at the teams that are interested: the Giants, the Raiders. Like, what does he want? I mean, I guess that's what you have to ask yourself. Does he want the money or does he want to win? Because if he wants the money, then yeah, man, go get your money. Go, hell yeah, that's awesome. But if you want to win, let's call it what it is here. The Rams are the best chance to do that. So I don't know, man. Southern California is not a bad place to live. Playing for Sean McVay is not a bad deal either. You're pretty close to what we all feel like is maybe going to a Super Bowl last year. If he wants to tear that down and go somewhere else, try to rebuild, then I guess so be it. But I don't think that happens.
I don't understand it. Like, and in no shade, like every offseason, every team has like an equal chance to do the most possible to improve as much. Like you look at the Commanders last year. Dan Quinn comes in, rookie quarterback, to make it to a title game. Like you can do a lot of stuff, especially with a quarterback like Stafford. But yeah, none of those teams are like one piece away. Like how the Rams brought in Matthew a few years ago. It felt like we were just like one thing to get over the hump, and that thing happened to be just a change at quarterback. Absolutely no shade at Goff, because I do think he's a phenomenal quarterback. It just a different form of quarterback was needed. Yeah, I don't get it, dude. Like I'm trying to brace for the inevitable. Like it sucks. And I'll speak just as like a blind faith fan, like my inner child here. Matthew Stafford's been like is top 5, one of my favorite quarterbacks ever, like since his even Detroit days. Like my love for football transcends just the Rams. Like I just love more than anything great quarterback play and like gunslingers. And he is the last of that breed because Rodgers has fallen off a cliff. It feels like, and plus with his media stuff, it's a little, fun. But Stafford is the last of a dying breed. And then now watching him leave my favorite team, like that breaks my heart a little bit. It really does suck. Yeah, I hope he stays, man. I really do.
It was so interesting here. We got GP Shadow showing up here, but it is starting to feel real. And what's so funny is that like we got this report that like at first the initial report was Matthew Stafford met with Tom Brady in Montana at his ski resort to talk about whatever and moving to the Raiders or whatever. And then I was like, oh man, like that's a big deal. Like that doesn't happen, like that's not something you do just to be like, yeah, I'm going to say no, but like, I'm going to go anyway. We saw how that works in How I Met Your Mother or something like that, but like too specific of a reference. That's too old.
No, that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
I got too many deep cuts on that show. I got to stop referencing anyway, but either way, in that situation, then we got the report that it was like, oh no, it wasn't a planned meeting. It wasn't like a recruiting thing. It's like they actually just ran into each other at this ski resort. Nothing to worry about. In my brain, it's like, yo, did we all forget how Matthew Stafford showed up to us? That's how it happened, man. He was on vacation.
I was just going to say, this is shades of vacation 2021.
Dude, that information doesn't give me any calming like factor at all. It's like, that's how we got him. What are you talking about? That's supposed to make me feel better? Not even close, man. So I don't know. Maybe use high voice there. Come on.
Yeah, Tom Brady. I just two Hall of Fame quarterbacks just happen to run into each other. Like, oh, what are you doing here? Oh my gosh,
in Montana.
Tom Brady, I'm on to you. What I am doing. That comment is funny because it made me feel like you're having to like feel like we're all about to go through a breakup. Like it hurts.
It's like when you were so I don't want to cut you off here too much, but like it's like when you're like when you meet some girl, she's like with somebody, and then like she cheats on them with you, and then it's like then she cheats on you. It's like, what did you think was gonna happen? It's like
No, not Stafford. Not Stafford, the football adulterer. Stop it.
that's so funny, dude. Oh yeah. Sorry, I
I
didn't mean to
see.
cut you off there.
No, I see Ray's comment here. Love Matthew,
Mhm.
but the thought of paying a 37-year-old 50 mil a year kind of worries me.
50
It.
mils not that much.
I mean, that's a going rate for a top 10 quarterback, and I
Mhm.
will die on the hill that Matthew Stafford is a top 10 quarterback. He's a top 2 in the NFC, behind only. I don't care what you think of Jalen Hurts. Won a Super Bowl, played phenomenally in the playoffs. His game is a little bit different, a little bit mobile. Asked to do things kind of like Stafford, where hey, I don't need you to throw for 450 yards to prove you're elite. I need you to
Mhm.
manage this game. I need you to do what we do within our system
Sure.
at an elite level and win games. I think he's only second behind Jalen Hurts right now, who just won a title. That's just what it costs, man. Like however you want to cut it, structure it. That's what it costs for a quarterback that can take you to a Super Bowl.
Mhm.
I don't know how you feel about it. But that's how I feel.
No, it's absolutely how I feel. I mean, the fact that that you have certain guys already making 50 mil a year at the quarterback position who have not been close to doing the things that Matthew Stafford is doing. I mean, I think that alone tells you what you need to know. But also, I mean, I keep getting the comment of his age of like, well, yeah, but you don't want to extend him at this age and kind of thing. And I truly, I'll tell you this, man. I don't think the hangup is the money. I think the hangup is the years. I think that that's where the difference is. There's no reports saying that, but I would guess that's where the hangup is. I'm guessing the Rams are saying like, "Hey, man, we want a little bit of a commitment here. Can you be here for at least 2 more years?" And then because this being a conversation every single offseason, it's probably getting annoying. I feel like we already kind of got some comments of Sean McVay being a little bit annoyed about this whole situation because, like, yeah, let's just figure it out, man. But let's not go into next offseason again with is Matthew Stafford going to retire? Is he going to leave? Like, let's just figure it out. It's like, no, I'm in here for 2 more years or 3 more years, and then it's done, kind of thing. I think that that's what we're
Yeah.
kind of waiting on is just a commitment of some sort. Let's not just do this every offseason, the will he won't he thing. That's ridiculous,
Yeah. No, and I like how for me, I always laugh at McVayisms and his
Yeah.
non-answers in every press conference.
Yeah.
I will give them credit since this day the season ended. They've been pretty upfront about the Stafford situation. Like, if you watch enough McVay, you can tell the difference between his coy answers, his non-answers because he doesn't want to talk about a topic,
Mhm.
and this situations like this where he actually is being open and honest. And even when he was on with Fitz and Whitworth
I need to watch that.
on their podcast, great episode. I fully believe him. He wasn't giving you PC answers. He was very
Mhm.
open and honest. And I like how they approached the Stafford situation this offseason. He kind of explains it. And I'm going to try to summarize it as best as I can. Basically, hey, we know how this is going to play out. Like, we kind of did this last year. Let's just pull everyone's cards on the table. We're all fucking adults.
Yeah.
You and your agent, go get as much information as you can. Like, if that's going to be part of the negotiating, cool. Go get all the info.
Mhm.
We'll get all the info. So that way, when they come back to negotiating, if there's going to be like a final date or whatever, then there's no, oh, but we want to go check this. Like, nope, we already have the info. Figure it the fuck out. Because I think they want to get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Whatever the hang up is, I hope they do figure it out. But for me, I'm in the camp of if there is a post Stafford life this season, I'm looking at rookie quarterbacks right now to see if there's anybody that maybe entices a Sean McVay, because veterans is kind of a very short list.
I'll tell you this: if the Rams do make the move and move off of Matthew Stafford, I would be. I don't want to say surprised. That doesn't seem real. I don't think any shock would overtake me, but I would fully expect that Jimmy Garoppolo would be our starting quarterback. That's a prediction,
I can
not
see
a
that.
once, like but and
No,
I don't think it would
he's
be bad.
there. Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it'd be a bad thing. I think he would look fine. I think that like he would be an okay option to kind of like if the Rams are able to maybe find a rookie quarterback this draft or something like that, like have him kind of be that guy for a little bit. But I would say that it's probably probably not going to be all the names that we hear about of like Sam Darnold's not coming to the Rams. Aaron Rodgers is not coming to the Rams. Like it's names like that. I just don't see as being realistic at all. We got GP Shadow thoughts on Stetson Bennett. I mean, I don't dislike Stetson Bennett, but let's not pretend he's ever going to be a starting level quarterback. I mean, he just doesn't have it.
I don't think so. No, I don't think his development. I don't think that his strengths translate to being like a 17-week
Yeah,
starter. I actually really like him a lot.
me
Like,
too.
down to a human level, and like him overcoming whatever he was dealing with last year and being able to, come through and still be in the NFL speaks to his mental toughness. Yeah, my thing with Jimmy G, he's very polarizing. Like a lot of people, I will say I'm proud of a lot of Rams fans because they're looking at a high upside. They're like, dude, he tore it up against Seattle in Week 18. Yes, the stat line was pretty dope. I was there
With backups. I mean, didn't have
against
Puka or anything like so.
Yeah, and against the majority starting defense for Seattle because they were playing. I think some of their guys were playing for some contract incentives and stuff and pride. But very different offenses, very vanilla. A lot of screens, a lot of checkdowns, a lot of bubble passes, a lot of quick options. It wasn't a McVay offense. It was very, hey, let's try not to get anyone hurt. Let's just get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
His last good football was 2021, 2022, where he was playing before he lost his job to Purdy and everything. 2022, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I would like to see a rookie come in. There's a few guys on that list that I been watching. I'm interested in.
There's a lot of guys I'd be interested in, man. I raised saying don't think Aaron Rodgers is a possibility. I don't think because I'll talk about this real quick. Is it because he's saying a lot of Rodgers and Devontae smoke?
Let's dive into it. Yeah.
I would call this a lot of Rodgers and Devontae steam, dude. There is no real reports coming out of Rodgers and Devontae Adams coming to the Rams. There's a lot of like rumors and like low level people who aren't real. I'm not trying to trash anybody here, but like people that it's like, well, I'm waiting for these names to say things. You know what I mean? Because like the names that are saying Rodgers and Devontae coming to the Rams, maybe none of it has any weight to it from my years of watching this league unfold and stuff like that. So I would call it steam on Rodgers and Devontae coming to the Rams. I just don't think that this is going to happen, man. I think it's fake smoke, man. What do you think?
Steam. They talk about it enough. It's going around in circles. I mean, I think it was who's the other guy? Not Rappaport. Who's the other in-shotter?
Piero.
He's always on McAfee. I forgot his name, but
Pelissero?
I mean, not Pelissero. The other, I forget. He's always on McAfee. But I guess not the Adams part. The Adams part, like if you're gonna pay a guy who may not be at the top of his game anymore, like you need him for possession and third down. We have Cup. He's already here.
Yeah, we have.
I can see why the Rodgers thing makes sense, and Rodgers has said like, "Hey, he loves McVay, and anything's a possibility." If Stafford leaves, you got to find, a professional quarterback. And here's my big thing that a lot of fans are missing. It's not just a numbers thing. It's not just a talent on field thing of, hey, can you make these throws? It's a professionalism thing. It's a what do you do? And he said it on that podcast with Fitz and Witt. Sunday to Saturday, how does your quarterback operate 7 days a week behind the scenes? That is more than just on-field Sunday's product. It's helping the rookies. It's showing up in the film room. It's how do you operate as a leader? Like there's GM, head coach, and quarterback. Those three guys that are leading the team. Those are the faces of the franchise every single season. I don't care what issues you're having.
Mm-hmm.
Such a culture shock of having your should be all pro quarterback leave for someone as polarizing as Rodgers. It's a culture shift, regardless of Rodgers, how he actually is with his team and stuff. It's such a dynamic shift that I don't buy it. I don't think McVay would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I don't fucking know Sean McVay at all. Maybe I just stop watching football. But I don't see it. I don't see that marriage.
It does seem like a combo that doesn't make a lot of sense based on Matthew Stafford's personality and even Jared Goff's personality and how that situation kind of fell apart with Sean McVay. I truly think this too. And if I think that if Aaron Rodgers showed up to the Rams this year would be awesome. This year would be exciting. We'd probably win the division. I feel like it would be like Devontae goes for like 850 or something like that. And we're like, holy crap, this is awesome. The next year is where I think it would crumble, where I think it would be terrible after that. But Ray's saying here, he's like, I think the Rodgers smoke is real. I disagree. I mean, I'd like to, if you've got like something more on that, I'd be interested, man, of why you feel that. But he says starting Jimmy G would be a disaster and a waste of year for a young defense. I feel that way about Rodgers. Like, it's just like, why bring in, why get rid of your 37-year-old quarterback to get an 38-year? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like if the Rams do move off of Matthew Stafford, it's like, okay, this is the year then we start building the future, not putting on a Band-Aid at the quarterback position again and just saying like, okay, well, for this year or two, then we can have Rodgers, who's a Hall of Famer. Like, let's add our logo to his induction ceremony kind of thing. It's like, do we need to do that? Probably not. So,
yeah, I don't think it'd be a disaster. I believe in McVay enough. Like I could see.
Yeah.
And my final word on Jimmy G is he can be a professional quarterback. Like I think he's actually probably a great professional as well. But to win a Super Bowl with a quote unquote bridge quarterback like a Jimmy Garoppolo, you need A+ work, not just from the rest of the team. You need it from the GM, from the head coach, from this point up until next February. Just because he's not an elevator. It doesn't seem he has been in his career.
Yeah.
Whereas Matthew Stafford, and I was having this conversation with somebody on Reddit, that Jimmy G is he's one of the boats that needs to get lifted by somebody else. Stafford can lift boats, everyone else. And he can take over a game. And this person was saying that the O-line and the trenches are way more important than the quarterback. They are important, but you still need an elite level quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Like I will die on that hill. And yes, I'm saying Jalen Hurts is elite. Like you need that. Without that, I think it's far-fetched to say you can win a Super Bowl.
I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is essentially Jared Goff. I think that they're the same quarterback. I think that they bring us the same level of production on offense. If Jimmy G or Jared Goff is the guy, I feel like our offense runs exactly the same. I don't know what it is. Like JG, man, it's a JG thing, I guess. I don't know.
I will say though, like just to have some headcanon, how fucking hilarious would it be to have Jimmy G raise a Lombardi and Levi?
Dude. I thought about that. That's the funniest thing that I thought about. I was at work.
Fucking funniest.
I was at work and I'm just kind of sitting there and it was like, oh my God, the Super Bowl's at Levi's. Like, if we had Jimmy, dude, that'd be so like, yeah, top tier, man. That'd be absolutely pinnacle. So yeah, you're right, man. You know what? Just because of the humor factor in that and the middle finger that LA would be able to give up to San Fran for that, yeah, man, I'm for it. I want that to happen. That's a good.
I'm petty as hell. Like, hey, if that's the way they want to go, if they want to save a few mil, start Jimmy G, cool. Go get Kyle McCord, Jackson Dart out of the draft. Have him sit, and if they take over, maybe we get some of that San Francisco juju where our 7th round quarterback all of a sudden is a superstar, and Jimmy G gets benched again.
I'm gonna do something here real quick. Because Ray's coming in, he disagrees with us on Jimmy G, and I want to be clear to Ray that I don't think Jimmy G's a good quarterback. I think that he's an NFL quarterback, and he's gotten to this level, which means he's decent. And also, the Rams have Sean McVay and Puka Nacua and a good offensive line and a good run game. So there's a lot of different factors there, man. So what I'm going to do now, if you would feel so inclined, join us, right?
Hop in, dog.
Just your talk, man.
Yeah.
We don't have much time, just in fairness. I do have to go to work here soon and try to get there a little early. I got a con night, so I'm leaving work early and stuff. So
he's not
in town.
I believe in Sean McVay enough where he can take me at quarterback and we're gonna throw a few touchdowns. So in any NFL quarterback.
Well, it turns out there's one. There's one that can work in a Sean McVay offense, and that's Brett Rippon, man. Brett Rippon, my enemy.
I don't know what happened there. And I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't want to sit here and say like, I have an eye for quarterbacks, but I think a lot of fans do. Like, you can just kind of tell. You can see it when you do. When you watch guys, just kind of how they move in the pocket, how they just operate, even in bad games. They're like, yeah, like this guy's an NFL quarterback, and there's some guys that should not be.
True. He's gonna hop on here, so I wanted to ask you real quick.
Yeah.
For Jonah Jackson, Rams just granted permission, Jonah Jackson, to seek a trade. We agree, right, that this is going to be the what we've referred to as the less need special.
It's always one.
We trade a player and the 7th round pick for your 6th round pick. That's just that we agree, right?
Yeah, unless they're able to sell it really hard that it's because he was hurt last year and this and that, and like that's. And he's unhappy. Unless they were able to package it and sell it somehow. I got to believe that at some point, all these like charity trades, like the less need specials we've given out, we're owed one at some point, whether it's Stafford or this one. Like someone's like, if they're going to, we'll do that if you're going to take the whole contract. Take the whole contract and we'll pick swap all day. But I feel like Snead sometimes does these trades. And I'm going to put my foot in my mouth in case he ever sees some shit I say about him. Like, I feel like he does these like a kid who just picked up Madden for the first time and is just like pressing buttons. He's like, yeah, I got Jimmy G for a first rounder. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah. All right, Ray, give me a thumbs up if you're ready, man. Okay. So I don't know Ray. I've never interacted with Ray, but I see some pretty badass stuff in the background. It looks like we've got a matching flag over here from that here. So very similar to the vibe that I used to have in my sheriff station here. So we're gonna bring him in here as he shows off this place, man. What up, Ray? How you doing, dude?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Actually, a big fan of both of you guys. I've been watching you guys for a little while. So
hell yeah, man.
Do I sound okay? Am I echoing or anything?
You sound great, man. We've only got a couple minutes here. Got a couple minutes here, and then we got to bounce out, man. But I wanted to talk to you about your quarterback opinions here, man. What do you think is going to happen? What do you want to happen also?
So, look, you're right. I mean, they're just for the baseline reports that I've seen, on like Twitter and things like that. And you're right. Maybe there isn't a lot of weight. It could just be steam, like you guys said. But I just feel that for the same reasons you guys said that things would work with Jimmy G, that's why I feel things would work with Aaron Rodgers. Now, I know he is polarizing. You're right. Definitely correct on that. But I just think that our culture is strong. We have a good front office. We have a good coaching staff. I don't think that would be an issue with us because I feel like people were saying the same things about Jalen Ramsey and players like that. Oh, he's going to be an issue or he's going to be might be an issue in the locker room. And, and it didn't happen. So, I do think that it could work with McVay, with Puka, with our offensive line. I think with our young defense, I think that it could work. Now, I know, we have Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. I mean, Devontae Adams has been able to stay healthy. Cooper Kupp hasn't been able to stay healthy. Now, the production, whatever, I mean, I guess you can argue, but I think that Devontae Adams will be a little bit of an upgrade. And the biggest thing about all this, the biggest point of this is the money. All right. That's another thing I've been hearing. If Aaron Rodgers comes, he's going to be dirt cheap. He's not going to be $50 million. So if something happens,
still
we don't have
paid by
commitment.
New York, right?
Right. New York's going to be, they're still, it's similar to the Russell Wilson situation. They're going to be paying his money. So he's probably going to be coming here for dirt cheap, vet minimum, going to have to pay almost nothing. And while the production, of course it's not Aaron Rodgers when he was with Green Bay and he's winning back-to-back MVPs, but I still think for the reasons that I said, he could have, not guaranteeing it. Yeah, he could come here and it could be Jets 2.0, but it could also not be Jets 2.0. It could, I think, in my opinion, it could work.
So let me ask you this then. Would you rather, and this is just an opinion from you, would you rather see Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, or would you rather, if Stafford does leave, to maybe go with I'm not saying Jimmy, but because he is getting older too, but maybe a younger guy, or just go towards the draft? Who would you rather see? Because Rodgers specifically, I feel like is just unrealistic due to age and due to stuff like that. So is there anybody else in the younger range that you would have your eyes on?
This quarterback draft class is not very good. I know there are some projects, there are some guys that, you know, potentially could be good, but, you know, given how the league is and how like really like quarterback desperate a lot of teams get, you know, I feel like sometimes they reach for these guys. And, you know, so me personally, if there is like a Jackson Dart later on, like much later in the draft, I wouldn't mind like taking him. But I would rather like we probably focus more next 2026 draft. There's going to be a lot better quarterback talent overall, as opposed to just a couple guys that are probably going to go in the top 3-4 picks. There's going to be a lot more guys. They're going to be a lot better quarterbacks. So I think youth-wise, I would rather do 2026 draft, and then just this year, you know, given whatever happens with what happens with Matthew Stafford, you know, what kind of trade compensation we get, you know, strengthen our, you know, whatever, best player available, you know, but quarterback wise, no, I don't think this year, unless it's somebody like a Jackson Dart in the later rounds, I'm probably focusing more on 2026.
I'm a Kyle McCord truther out of Syracuse. I believe in that man. I believe in him. I'm low on Dart, so I'm not falling for the just the big arm and hey, yeah, he's got mechanics issues and he's, you know, like he's very inaccurate when he gets pressured. But the arm is huge. Like, I know that's the big. I'm not getting Zach Wilson. I can't do it.
That's Sam Darnold. That's Zach Wilson. There's a bunch of guys like that. Yeah. So I think what's ultimately
and I like Rodgers. Like, sorry, I'm sorry I cut you off, but I like Rodgers. I think he gets a lot more shit from the media because the media doesn't like him and label him. I don't think he's actually toxic. I think he does need to shut up sometimes. But that's about.
I think the media doesn't like his personality type, and you have really big shows like Colin Cowherd and really the whole Fox Sports world, like they don't like that personality type because he doesn't give you those answers. He doesn't, when you ask him a question, he doesn't just like, you know, yeah, well, we fought hard today. Credit to the other guys. You know, like he doesn't give you those just basic answers. Like he tries to mess with you a little bit, and I think he's having fun.
Piss off Colin Cowherd. Here we go. Put my hat backwards.
Yeah.
Piss him off a little bit.
Yeah,
hey,
he just turns it off now. Now he's not listening to us anymore. Yeah, so it's one of those weird things where I think that like the McAfee world is like really changing the way sports media is like interacting with players because it's from players. It's like it is the perfect little window into the players' world, being that Pat was in so many locker rooms with so many great players and stuff like that, and has so many connections and stuff. So it's really interesting to see.
I love McAfee, dude. Like it's
great
for people who like hate on it. They're like, oh, look at these dipshits. Like they tell you from the gate, hey, we're a bunch of slab dicks. Like we're really dumb.
Yeah.
And
I love it too, because
if you've ever been in a football locker room,
sports.
If you've ever been in a football locker room, it's literally it's the same thing as, hey, it's post practice. We're all saying dumb shit. We probably shouldn't record this, but they're recording it. Like that's exactly how it is, and I love it.
When they got signed on with ESPN, man, I was like, oh crap, the sports world is changing, man. I was like, sports media is changing, and it works for guys like me with long hair and like a mustache and stuff like that. I was like, I'm in now, man. I can do this.
You just start wearing cutoff tees.
Nope. Not built like this. I ain't wearing cutoff tees, man.
For a punter, McAfee's he's kind of built a little bit, man.
I ain't got shit to show off. Come on now.
Show off those guns and that Colorado sun that you've been getting, Joe.
Yeah. Nothing going on over here. I'm aerodynamic as hell. All right. So I got to get on to work soon. I got to try to get in a little early. I've got Disturbed is in town tonight, so I'm leaving work early to head up to Denver.
Nice.
Yeah. So Seven Dust is going to be there. I've never seen them. So I'm excited about it. But either way, man. Hey Ray, I want to thank you for hopping on, man. Real quick, man, where can we follow you on socials and stuff?
You know, I don't really do that stuff. I don't do like social media or anything like that. But I love coming on here and talking ball, man. I'd love to like do it again sometime. Like I said, I'm a fan of both you guys, so I appreciate.
What's your mic name? Come up with the mic name right now. What is it?
I know. I need to think of like a cool name, like you. No, you know.
We'll take the week. We'll try to come up with something. All right.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, guys. For letting me be on here. All right. Go Rams.
Absolutely, man. Go Rams. So and Tuna, where we find you, man?
Instagram first.and.tuna because I suck at making pen names. Check us out on YouTube mostly. We actually, our next guest, I have the lovely Mrs. Rashida Liberty coming on, NFL agent. She's going to talk to us about some offseason combine, HBCU stuff that'll be coming out tomorrow.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I need to get better at what is that one? Blue Sky. I need to try it. I only commented on one of your things one time, and that's the only thing I've done there.
We got it. I'm gonna start running your social media. I'm gonna start running your social media.
Feel free, dude. You can have all my passwords and stuff. I would actually love that. I would love to be off of social media entirely. I hate this shit, but yeah. I'm at Sheriff Joe Bags on Blue Sky, but you'll probably just be talking to Tuna anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. At Sheriff Joe Bags, at Ram Showcase. New episode of Ram Showcase will be available tomorrow at some point. I'm not sure exactly what time. I will be, concert recovery for the first portion of the day, and then recording after that. So
recovery.
Yeah, check that out. We're going predictions. I'm laying out my whole off-season prediction list, and I don't think anybody should be surprised, but we'll see, I guess.
It's a big episode. Big episode.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one, man. And then also we're planning a big thing as we hit our official 9-year anniversary on March 16th. That is a Sunday, so we'll be hitting a live stream that day.
Hey.
I want everybody to kind of hop in on that one, man. So come and join me, and we'll have a good time. So
hell yeah.
So, 9 years.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
Oof.
That's
getting into season 10, bro. That's crazy.
That's longer than any relationship I've ever had. That's a commitment.
It's longer than most things in my life, man. That's crazy. 10 years, man. Yeah. Season 10 is starting next month for Ram Showcase, man. I'm fired up about it. But with that being said, man, I do got to be bouncing out of here. So
let's do it.
Chat Rams, man. We'll see if Matthew Stafford is hanging around or not, I guess. What kind of players do we want to list off as we fade into the abyss this time?
Oh, man. Just innocuous, just random quarterback names. RIP Colt Brennan.
Any team, like
any ever.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Thad Lewis.
Thad Lewis. Joe Milton.
Ooh, that's a good one, man. Just give me Bryce Perkins.
Rams legend Baker Mayfield. I think about him often. I miss him.